Hi everyone, welcome back to Just Dream Ginger channel. If you're new here, my name is Irina, I'm a former Emirates flight attendant, and today I'm gonna answer your question: why do airlines reject your application, or why you keep failing your open or assessment day. Ready? Then fasten your seatbelt, because we're flying right into it. I work as an Emirates flight attendant for 5 years, but I need to say that I failed my open days twice before I was accepted as an Emirates flight attendant, and the reason was told by Qatar Airways why I failed my Emirates Open day twice. Yeah, that's why it sounds weird, but that's my story, and I'm gonna share it with you slightly later on because that case is more specific. And we're gonna start with the most common errors and mistake why you keep failing Emirates, Etihad or Qatar assessment day, or why your application rejected by the system. Let's start with the online application process. Airlines receive thousands of applications every year, so even a small error may lead to automatical rejection of your application. Failing to meet the basic requirements is the most common error of candidates and the reason why they keep getting the rejection email from the airlines. First of all, you need to go through all the criteria, what are they looking for in the candidate, and if you don't meet them, most probably if you will complete application, it will be automatic rejection. They're not gonna even read your resume if you fail meeting the basic criteria. Incomplete or incorrect information is the second most common error why you're rejected. Basically, even a small error in your application or a small part of the missing information will lead to automatic rejection. So I would say double check, even triple check that you put the right information into the right part of the application and there is no grammar errors. Just check it one more time to be on the safe side and not to be rejected because of a stupid grammar mistake. The importance of your application photos. Yes, they are more important than you might think because this is the first impression of you by the airlines. Basically, they have a lot of requirements of how the photo should look like and how you should look like on those photos. I do have more detailed specific video about the application process. I'm gonna put a link somewhere over here. You can click and check it out first. But if you think that you did everything right and your application is perfect, but you still keep getting a rejection email, there is one trick that you could do to still be accepted as an airlines flight attendant, and I'm gonna talk about it in the part about the open and assessment day. Now let's talk about the open and assessment day. If it's an assessment day, congrats, because you passed the first part and your application was amazing. They invite you to the assessment day. But if it's an open day, you can actually skip the part of waiting for the invitation. You can just attend an open day, and if you are successful throughout the entire day, the only thing that they will ask you to do the application, to create the application on the website, or to provide your application number to the recruiter. In this case, you don't need to wait for an invitation, and if they are rejecting your application, you can just create a new account. Don't wait for the email, just go to the nearest open day, and if you are successful, they will ask you just for application number, and they won't be renewing it and rejecting your application because you're already successful on open day. You're going to proceed to the final interview. So that's a trick if they keep rejecting your application online. But that trick gonna work only if you're successful through an entire day. And open and assessment day, they're quite difficult to pass. They have many stages. Like open day have a CV drop, and then they're the similar with assessment day with a group assessment, English test, and that's quite easy to fail it, especially if you don't know how those days are usually going. I also do have one video about how to pass an open and assessment day. If you want more detail, you can check it out by this link. But today we're just going to talk about the mistake that leads to being rejected. Walking into the open day without a knowledge about the company is like going into an exam without being prepared. So before you go to the open day, check the information about the airlines, the values, and what are they looking for in the candidate. So one of the most common mistake is just going into the interview with a lack of knowledge about the airline. First impression matters, really. Basically, when you're walking inside of the room of open or assessment day, the recruiter want to see you look in a specific way, basically the same as your photo that you submitted on application process. You already need to look like a flight attendant with the same hairstyle, with the same makeup and the suit, which is good for that specific days. I remember I had one girl on my open day. She looked incredible, like supermodel. She had a scarf, she had a bright red suit, but the thing is, she was rejected on a CV drop just because of the way she looked. That red suit and a scarf is not really applicable for the Emirates Airlines, and that was one of the reasons why she wasn't accepted, because on the CV drop you don't say anything to the recruiter. It's just the first impression, and she didn't follow the guidelines of how to look on the open day, and that's why she was rejected. Nerves and group assessment. I know this is extremely stressful part of the day, the group assessment, when you need to talk with your colleague, when you need to present the result of your research or discussion, and the recruiter is watching you closely. This is really nerving part of the day, and it's normal to nerve. The only advice that I might give is to prepare for your open or assessment day. Search which kind of the group assessment you might face. Try to be as confident as you can. If you're nerving when you're answering, fake it until you make it. Fake yourself to the point that you're confident. Take a deep breath, think what you want to say to the recruiter, and then do it. I do give these advices on the videos that I was told about. But the thing is, when you didn't prepare for your open day or assessment day, you nerve more than when you go in there fully prepared and you already expect some kind of the group assessment. So do the research, and I believe they're gonna help you to deal with your nerves. Your communication skills could also be one of the reasons why they keep rejecting your candidacy. And when I said communication skills, I do not mean speaking skills, because communication is also about listening. So you need to balance between those two, speaking and listen, because Emirates recruiter is looking for someone who could be a team member, not leaders as well, but mostly we're working as a part of the team. That's why they are looking for a person who can balance between those two and be generally easy to get along with other people. At the beginning of this video, I promised you to tell my story, why I was rejected, and what is Qatar doing with Emirates, how they helped me to get a job with Emirates Airlines, and I do keep my words. But before that, let's make it equal. I'm gonna tell you my story, and you're gonna tell me your story in the comments, because I really want to read and hear about your experience. But when I said that mine was a bit weird, it's kind of weird, and I would never share this story if it wouldn't be the same recruiter who rejected and accepted me at the same time. So when I first tried as an Emirates flight attendant, I did have the same hair color as of now. Maybe it was slightly more brighter. I'm gonna put some picture of me at the time over there. And my second attempt, I was rejected on a CV drop. Basically the stage when you do not say anything to the recruiter, you just give them a CV, and they decide if you're gonna proceed to the next stage of the day. And I was not successful, and to be fair, for the next couple of months after that, I was overthinking, and I didn't know what was the reason why they reject my candidacy. So I saw an advertisement of a Qatar Open Day in Kyiv, so I decided to give it a shot. I didn't want to work as a Qatar flight attendant, but I was like, if Emirates doesn't want me, all right, I'm gonna try with the Qatar. I went there. I passed through the whole stage of the open day, and I was successful to pass to the interview part. The next day I went there were some questions, and at the end of the interview they asked me if this is my natural hair color, and I said no, I'm naturally dark blonde. And they said you need to dye your hair to your natural color if you will be successful. I asked why, and they said if you want to work for the Middle East Airlines, you can't work with this hair color. I was really confused at the time. I didn't ask why, but that's what the Qatar recruiter told me. And the next day I was accepted. I get my successful email by the Qatar Airways. I'm gonna find it, and I'm also gonna put it somewhere here. But they asked me to dye my hair back to natural color, do another picture, submit them. So the process of joining to the Qatar Airways took more than 4 months. If I would join Qatar, my date of joining would be in November, and I attended an open day in June. So during these 4 months, I already dyed my hair, right? I decided to give Emirates another shot. So I bought a ticket to Poland, and I decided to try on open day over there. But what was my surprise when I entered the room and I saw the same recruiter that didn't accept me on the open day a couple of months before. And I was like, oh, what a waste of money and time. They're gonna reject me, and I flew to another country just for that open day. But that was my successful time when they accept me as a flight attendant of Emirates. And I would never say that story just if not the same recruiter who rejected me and accepted me. And the only thing that I changed is my hair color and the pictures. That's it. I had the same CV as of previous time, but just with another pictures. By saying this, I doesn't mean that Emirates doesn't hire red-haired girls. I did flew 3 times within 5 years with naturally red-haired girls. Their hair color is not extremely bright. They are naturally red hair. But the thing is, there were not many of them, and I do really like this hair color. That's why I'm talking about it. And also, when I joined and I was in training college, I saw the girl on the bus with red hair, and I was like, wow, did they accept you with red hair? Because I thought it was the reason why they rejected mine. And she said that they hired her, but they told her to dye her hair back to the natural color during the training college, so she did. Also, by saying this, I doesn't mean it was 6 years ago. They might change something already. I'm just saying that if you are rejected on your open and assessment day, sometimes it's not about you as a person, but they just looking for some other type of the girl or a guy. Emirates is a multinational company, and every flight we had people from all over the world. It was not like we all look the same, all from Europe or from Asia. No, every team was extremely diverse. So there were some European looking, someone from Asia, from Africa, from South America. And I do believe, it's my personal opinion, it's not like confirmed information, but I do believe that sometimes they're looking for a specific type of a person, and maybe you're just not the one they are looking at that specific day. So if you're not successful, even on a CV drop, don't overthink. Try next time. Try to think what was the reason why they didn't hire you, why they rejected you, and just believe in you. If you think that you're perfect for this role, you're gonna get this job, like I did. I failed twice and then I was accepted at the same time by Qatar and Emirates. So you can do that as well. Believe in yourself. And I really hope, if you wanna be a flight attendant, you're gonna reach your dream. You're gonna become a flight attendant for Emirates, Qatar, Etihad, any other airlines in the world. And I hope this video gonna give you more confidence to go for open air assessment day, or to change the errors that you were doing during the online application. write a comment about your experience. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing, because it gives me more motivation to do more of such videos. And I believe I see you soon. Bye!